Do you suffer from shiny syndrome, sweaty palms, increased heart rate, palpitations, that unnerving feeling that you're going to miss out, that fear of dread and anxiety that if you don't buy the newest release that something horrendous is going to befall you? In this video, we're going to talk about what I like to call shiny syndrome. Back again with another video, bit of a ramble video this time, bit of a chat, bit of a hello, how are you all doing? Not seen you for a long time, hope you're all keeping well type video. In this video I want to talk about something I'm calling shiny syndrome. It might be called something else. I've not coined the phrase, and I just want to have a bit of a chat about hobby compulsion, about fear of missing out, about having to buy the next new thing and being compelled almost to do it. I used to be really bad. I mean, you'll see behind me, I've got cabinets full of miniatures, thousands and thousands of pounds worth of miniatures. Board games up the top there. I've thinned my collection out hugely. So, I mean, I really enjoy the hobby. I really enjoy Games Workshop miniatures, Forge World miniatures. I'm particularly into 30k and Horus Heresy at the moment, which really, piques my interest. You'll see just in the little corner down here, got some foreground buildings. That's for my Dead Man's Hand. And I had questions about that actually, but that's still going in quietly in the background. My cabinet is filling up. I paint the odd miniature for Dead Man's Hand every now and again. And I've got a couple of other games that I paint up, do a bit of Spectre operations. So yeah, I mean, there's multiple things I collect. Anyway, I suppose the point of this video is talking about this compulsion, I suppose. And I think a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I used to be compelled almost. and we joke, I suppose, about the plastic crack addiction. But I don't know if it's a joke, I don't know if it's actually a thing, actually a problem, where the new release comes out, pre-order goes up, and you're just compelled to go and get it. You have to go and get it, and whether you buying it cash in hand or whether you're putting it on the credit card, whether you're putting it on the never and paying for it for the rest of your life, it's that compulsion to buy stuff. And I think a couple of years ago, that was very much me, maybe less than that actually. Those of you that follow the channel will know that I went all in on 8th edition 40k, for example. Bought the Dark Imperium box set, and with the intent, I think, of supplementing my 30k Death Guard Legion with some 40k Death Guard Nurgle type stuff. So I bought the Dark Imperium box set because it was new, why wouldn't you? And sold the rulebook because I bought the £250 limited edition 8th edition rulebook. And while I will concede that it's a beautiful thing, it's a lovely thing, it's up there on the shelf, I've not played one game of 8th, and probably won't play one game of 8th, and I've got a lovely £250 brick sat there doing absolutely nothing. Shiny syndrome. Saw it, had to get it. So Dark Imperium, sold the rulebook, sold the Primaris because I'm not into the kind of Primaris stuff. Kind of shelved my Blood Angels a little bit, my 40k Blood Angels at least anyway. And so I wasn't going to use the Primaris, so sold those. And they had I had the Death Guard sort of hanging around. Bought the 40k Death Guard Codex when that came out, and I've promptly sold it all. Sold the Codex, sold all the miniatures in a job lot. I had the pack of 3, can't remember what they were called. It was a limited edition, 3 box of 3 miniatures from Games Workshop. That was direct only. Can't even remember what they were called. But again, sold those, bought those, sold those. And again, I mean, it relatively holds its value, but you don't generally get all your money back on that sort of stuff. When you're selling stuff secondhand, people want a deal, so you end up losing money. So I sold all that. And then what else? I mean, I've picked up so many miniatures. I picked up like the anniversary Space Marines Picked up those because, wow, they're brand new, they're shiny, need to have them. They sit on a shelf doing absolutely nothing. Picked up Sly Marbo. Wasn't even bothered about Sly Marbo, but I was just wandering around town. Popped into Games Workshop just because it's there. Why wouldn't you? And Sly Marbo sat there on the counter and just bought it because he was there. No, I've got no interest in. I appreciate everyone's got interest in Sly Marbo from that regard, just from a fluff historical, just kind of a old time's sake perspective. But yeah, picked him up, and again have promptly sold him because I've just had so much stuff just sat there, just money spent and minis just sat there doing absolutely nothing that I've got no intention of painting. Board games, again, similarly with board games, I'll buy board games upon board game upon board game. Again, I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds on board games and spent thousands and made hundreds when I've sold them. So they're my kind of, they're the ones I really enjoy. They're the ones that I play. That's a lie. I don't play. I play half a dozen regularly-ish, and the others I don't touch, but I like, and I don't want to sound like the thieves, So that's and they fit. So that's kind of a thing with me. If it fits, it stays. If I run out of space, it has to go. Similarly with the cabinets here. You'll see this cabinet here. It's clear. It's got my Xiphon in there for my Raven Guard. So Raven Guard is going to fill up this cabinet, and I've basically cleared out a load of Blood Angels. They're in a box. So there we go. So talking about board games, talking about the shiny syndrome, talking about being compelled to buy stuff. So this harks back to Space Hulk, I suppose. When they re-released Space Hulk, picked up Space Hulk, and it opened it, enjoyed looking at it, and that was great, and promptly did nothing with it. And then they re-released it again with a few more tiles. I think there was a 2009 version and a 2014 version, I want to say. I'm not entirely sure of those dates. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will. But because the new edition of Space Hulk came out, I picked that up too. I've got two untouched versions of Space Hulk. One I have got stowed away. I've got the miniatures on a shelf over here, ready to paint, and they've been sat on that shelf for literally years. And I've got the newer version, 2014 version, in shrink in the attic, sat there, but I can't get rid of it because it's that kind of, I don't know, it's shiny syndrome. You can't explain it. And then there was Dreadfleet. I'm not sure when that came in, but Dreadfleet came. That was the pirate-based game that kind of they sold for a month or so, sold in a way that Games Workshop were plugging it, trying to sell it. Didn't do very well, but the miniatures are beautiful. The actual ships are really, really nice. Like I say, it's a pirate-based game, Dreadfleet, if you don't know it. Bought that too. Never played it, but painted some of the miniatures. So at least I've had some limited enjoyment of Dreadfleet. Then I suppose we sort of tick along with these sort of specialist games. Forge World kind of concentrated more on the specialist game aspect of stuff. They were re-releasing the things from back in the day, from the things we remember fondly if you're of a certain age. So things like Space Hulk, things like Blood Bowl. They re-released Blood Bowl, as you know. I managed to resist the shiny syndrome on Blood Bowl. Didn't pique my interest quite enough. But with the teams you can buy, with the player mats you can buy, all this stuff, I like that kind of stuff. And Games Workshop know I like that sort of stuff, and they know you like that sort of stuff too. And that's why they do it, don't they? They are the master marketeers. So I managed to resist the Blood Bowl shiny, and then what came? Then it was like Shadow War Armageddon, which was a big box set. Lots of terrain, and from what I understand, the terrain covered the cost of the box set, above and beyond, I believe. And that game kind of disappeared. It was out for a limited release. People were stampeding over people to get to Shadow War Armageddon because it was shiny, because it was new. Gone, disappeared, not supported. Where's Shadow or Armageddon? Who knows? Then Necromunda. So they are promoting Necromunda, actually. Stuff comes out for Necromunda. I think it's a Forge World specialist games, Forge World studio kind of commitment. So they are producing stuff for Necromunda. And again, I've resisted the shiny for Necromunda. Although it does appeal to me, faction dice, small army type, skirmish settings, the terrain. I like that kind of gritty underground, just what's happening behind the scenes of 40k, 30k, that kind of, just sort of regular folk really who aren't, kind of on the Great Crusade, as it were. So, but I have resisted, although, you sort of think, or I do anyway, there's nothing's come out this week or this month or whatever, nothing I want to buy, I've got money burning a hole in my pocket, what am I going to get? Or should I get into Necromunda? Should I just buy the box set, have a look? If I don't like it, I can sell it. Although I will end up selling it for less because it's opened and I've looked at it and poured it and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, trying to resist that shiny. Then I suppose the main kind of crux of this video is this next big release, this Adeptus Titanicus, which again, if you're of a certain age, you will remember fondly back in the epic days of Games Workshop. And I wasn't interested in Adeptus Titanicus. That's a lie. I was interested in it. I mean, Mini Titans, you can't go wrong, can you? Mini Titans, you can't go wrong. And they are, as you know, releasing, mini Warlords, Reavers, Warhounds. They've got the Questoris Knights. So, I mean, and whatever else is coming too. Loads of nice terrain as well. All kind of, 8 mil scale, 10 mil scale, something like that. And even though I was interested in it, the price tag of £175, retail at least anyway, probably just sort of tipped me over the edge where I thought, most expensive box set in Games Workshop history, and I'm probably not going to get it, So I was thinking about it. Pre-order came along. I was actually out and about on pre-order Saturday, and it sold out. It sold out very, very quickly. No, that's a lie, actually. No, I remember logging on. No, I got an email. Got an email from Games Workshop, as you do. Adeptus Titanicus, Grandmaster Edition, 175 quid. And I was on my phone, got the email on my phone, logged onto Games Workshop website, and it was there. It was available. Pre-order now. Lovely. And I could have done it there and then, but I didn't because I wasn't interested in it. I'm trying to battle my demons, trying to battle shiny syndrome. So that was it, and then it sold out. Lovely. Grandmaster Edition's gone. You can buy all the individual components. You can buy the Warlords and the Questoris Knights and all the cards and the command terminal things. You can buy all that separately. But it was something about the Grandmaster Edition. It was all nicely boxed up in a limited edition kind of setting. And again, master marketeers. So anyway, sold out online at Games Workshop. Not available. I hear rumours that it's going to be re-released. It's going to come out again in 2019. First quarter 2019, as far as I understand. So that was it. So anyway, I was, I'm keeping sort of, abreast of Facebook and all of that, and looking at there's an Adeptus Titanicus Facebook page that I'm part of, and just people, just desperate for this Grandmaster Edition. It was quite something, I think, the likes of which really not really seen before. I think the run up to it was something different. It was almost like this sort of stampede to get a Grandmaster Edition of Adeptus Titanicus, and like I say, it sold out so quickly in Games Workshop, but your friendly local game stores had these box sets, but limited runs. Whether they got a handful or not was dependent on the friendly local game store. Whether you were able to get it at a discounted price, again, was dependent on the local game store. But again, I wasn't bothered. So anyway, I'm keeping abreast of this Adeptus Titanicus Facebook page, and I hear rumblings that my friendly local, Firestorm Games in Cardiff, there's one in Newport too. There's So there's a big one in Cardiff, big store, lots of gaming tables, etc. in Cardiff, and then there's a smaller store, like a concession store in a big Tesco Extra in Newport. And I saw or on the Saturday actually that the Newport store had 2 copies of the Adeptus Titanicus Grandmaster Edition in stock. So, and I was away for the weekend. I was in Devon seeing a very good friend, a school friend, and we were catching up, having a nice time, and I was sort of thinking, back in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, Firestone Games in Newport's got 2 copies. I wonder if they'll have 2 copies when I drive back past Newport and go literally 5 minutes out of my way to go there and see if they've got one in stock. Because again, I just wanted to look at the box. I just wanted to see it. So I did. Drove home on the Sunday. Drove into Newport. Drove past Newport on the way home. Went to Firestone Games in Newport. Like I say, literally 5-minute diversion in, 5-minute diversion out. And they still had 2 sat there. Still had 2 sat there. And I'm ashamed to say, this happened. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about it, really. We're coming up to 2 weeks post-release of Adeptus Titanicus. This, as you'll see, is still brand new in shrink. I haven't opened it. Because I'm kind of... And I think it's this video. I think it's just this sort of catharsis video. This of whether I want to keep it. Oops. I'm really sorry. I know people hate that, but there we go. Whether I want to keep it. I've fallen victim to shiny syndrome. I've fallen victim to it. And I didn't even get it cheap. Firestorm Games weren't doing the discount on the Grandmaster Edition. It was £175. And talking to the chap who sold it to me, and he was saying that the staff members weren't able to use their staff discount on it either. And they had to pay a full £175. And when he put it through the till, even though he knew it was £175, I think just when it flashed up, £175, and he said to me, that'll be £175. We both kind of looked at each other and thought, whew, £175, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for plastic and cardboard and paper. Although it does say it is expertly designed, which I wouldn't argue with. But it's still sat there, new in shrink, and I don't really know what to do. I don't know whether to open it and enjoy it, or I don't know whether to sell it on. And again, looking around, it probably looks like you can probably get your money back on that, to be fair. Because it is limited, and it is sold out. They're not producing anymore, certainly not this year. So getting £175 back for it probably wouldn't be an issue. So yeah. So I've fallen off the wagon, I think is what I'm trying to say in this video. I think I've been really good. I've been focused. I'm lucky. I'm in a job that affords me a very, very nice salary, if I'm honest. And I can afford these things. I can afford to buy these things. I am not going without a roof over my head. My family aren't eating beans on toast all day, every day, weeks on end, because I'm buying £175 box sets. So I can afford these things. And again, I suppose the case in point was an experience at Forge World where I had in my head a £350 budget. I'd gone to buy some Death Guard stuff at the time, 30k. And again, like going up to Warhammer World, I enjoy the experience of walking in, and it's just the displays and stuff. And it's a cool place to go. If you're into the hobby, it's a cool place to be. And Forge World is there. Everything's there. If they haven't got it, you can buy it, and they'll post it to you for free. So I had a £350 budget in my head, and I really wanted a Mastodon. I was after a Forge World Mastodon. That was kind of the thought of the day. But I was also thinking, oh, actually, I quite like a fell blade for my Death Guard. And I was mulling it over, and at the time, I think the Mastodon was 310, no, £300, I think it was, £300. Or it might have just gone up, actually. Anyway, but so I'm thinking, shall I get a Mastodon, or shall I buy lots of little things up to the value of £350? Because once you've bought a Mastodon, that's you've got not much of that £350 left, clearly. So I was sort of mulling it over, and I thought, no, be sensible. When am I going to use a Mastodon in games? I actually play 30k. I actually, been to a tournament now. I've got a tournament coming up in October too. So this will be my second tournament, and so I actually do get the Death Guard out and play 30k. And I'm thinking, when am I going to use a Mastodon in a game? Probably not, but it's a great model to have. But then Adeptus Titanicus is a great thing to have. All of the miniatures behind me are great things to have. My board games are great things to have. They're all great things to have. Battery's just about to go, so I'm going to pause it here, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Battery issues there. I've been talking for God knows how long. So yeah, all nice models to have. But then I had a thought that I spent £300 on a Mastodon, and that's just going to sit there. It's going to sit in a box for months and months and months until I get around to building it, because it's no mean feat. It's quite an undertaking. It's a big model. So I ended up buying a fell blade and lots of other things. I actually think I bought a fell blade and a predator and a Damocles Command Rhino. I bought lots of things up to the value of. So I ended up getting, in my head, lots of littler things, smaller things, up to the value of £350, and not buying a Mastodon. And then promptly the fell blade sat there for months and months and months and months. Again, just sat there. Now I suppose with Forge World you could argue buying it now actually would save you money, because Forge World is not getting any cheaper. So buying it today and having it sit there for months and months and months might be economically sound, because you're just going to end up paying more for it in the future if you're going to buy it anyway. But then you've just got models sat there, and I'm really trying to get to a point where I haven't got thousands of pounds worth of models. I was going to say hundreds of pounds, but I won't kid myself. Thousands of pounds worth of models just sat there. You can only paint one thing at a time, in my mind. You can only, or I can at least anyway. I try and paint, a bit of this and a bit of that, and have lots of things on my painting table at the same time, but I really struggle with that, and need to paint sort of one thing or similar groups of things at the same time. So in my mind, can only build one thing at a time, can only paint one thing at a time. So what's the point almost in buying all this stuff that just sits there? It's that immediate gratification where you buy it and you think, it's almost like that feeling. And it was like that with Adeptus Titanicus. It was like, I didn't pre-order it. Wish I had, kind of. Knew in the back of my mind I was going to get it, or try to get it. I mean, I wouldn't have paid over the odds, and some might argue I already did, paying full retail for it. Something which I haven't done again, that's another thing, something I haven't done. Gosh, I mean, Forge World, unavoidable, because you can only get it there. But Games Workshop stuff, I mean, I can't remember. Actually, that's a lie too. I can't remember the last time I bought something in Games Workshop. It was Sly Marbo. So there we go. That's the that's the full circle of just the shiny, isn't it? Just buying stuff on impulse, buying stuff because why? Don't even know. So Adeptus Titanicus, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, to be honest. I feel happy in my being just owning it. I'm not compelled to even open it. I'm not bothered about that it's still in the shrink. I quite like it still in the shrink, and I think that I am satisfied that I own it, and if I want to sell it brand new in shrink, I can. Because at the moment I'm busy painting up some 30k Death Guard. I'm doing a 14-man Breacher squad, which is taking a bit of time, as you might imagine. So yeah, and again, in my mind, can only build one thing at a time, can only paint one thing at a time. So yeah, I don't even know what this video is about, really, or if you're still here, well done. But it's just this kind of rambly thought, really. I was just out thinking about it, about this compulsion to buy, compulsion to what's the next thing. And it's almost like I'm really happy when Forge World, or whenever Forge World or Games Workshop, when the weekly releases come along, and it's something I'm not interested in. It's like a great, there we go. Not interested in that week. Not interested in that. I'm not going to have multiple copies of Tooth and Claw, for example, piled up behind me. That's the new box set with Space Wolves and Gene Stealer Cult, I think. So things like that. But then again, on the horizon, we've got more releases for Adeptus Titanicus, so I'll be at a bit of a crossroads there. They're releasing Reaver Titans next, so that is an interesting proposition. From what I hear, I think they're going to be about £35 each. I don't know if that's right or not. £35 each or 35 for two? 35 each, I think. And then like packs of 2 on the Warhounds. So again, because I own a Reaver and a Warhound, it's just cool. It's just something you've got to buy because it's shiny. Something that compels you to buy it. I'm not really sure. It's and I don't think I've come to any conclusions coming to the end of this video, I suppose. Does it even matter? Does it even matter? If you've got the funds, if you can afford to buy it, if you've got a roof over your head, if your family are fed and clothed, and the extracurricular activities are provided for, and then there's money at the end of the day, and you want to go out and spend £175 on Adeptus Titanicus and not even open it, who's to judge? Who's to judge? You judge yourself, I suppose. So yeah, I'm really trying not to buy the shine. I'm trying to be focused. Like I say, 30k Death Guard, very focused. 30k Raven Guard, again, that's new. And again, not new really, shiny in my mind because it's new, but the models I'm buying for it are not new. But it's just that thought of buying, isn't it? I think it's just that, I suppose it is that thing, isn't it? People do things to make themselves happy, and whether you drink or smoke or take drugs or buy clothes or handbags or whatever people do, us in our little community, we buy plastic crack, and it fulfills a need, it fulfills a compulsion. Don't know. Anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I think this video's long. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll be interested in your shiny thoughts. Thoughts on shiny syndrome? Are you a victim? Do you need help? I suppose you only need help if it becomes a problem. If you are buying miniatures and not eating, or buying miniatures and in arrears in your mortgage, or your debts, or or buying minis and at the expense of something else that's more important. Because even in my mind, hobby wise, it's important to me. It's a relatively way down the list, to be fair, in reality of what's important. So anyway, I know I probably haven't made any sense at all in this video. But anyway, I think it was just cathartic for me, just to chat to you guys about it. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.